could have been picking my nose or something.
Well, how about the fact that I had it muted anyway, so it doesn't even matter.
This is our special Halloween, one of our special Halloween episodes.
Nah, we were experiencing some issues with my camera, and I just said, you know what, screw it, we're gonna just jump right into it tonight, and I think we have a pretty cool episode set up for tonight. This kind of tags along to the episode that I just released with the tattoo trends. So this will be the anti-trend episode, so to speak. And we've known for a long time there's just certain tattoos that you're not supposed to get. And we want to start this episode by saying, look, we're not here to tell you don't get this tattoo, get this tattoo. It's ultimately, it's up to you. We're just trying to give some proper heads up on maybe some things you should steer away from. And then we're also going to talk about tattoos that maybe don't have the impact that they used to have. They may have met something at one time and now it's so overdone that it doesn't really have the meaning that it used to. There's plenty of those tattoos that we can talk about. I tried listing a bunch out before we got rolling today, and I thought it would be a cool episode. So,
and we also want to talk about just the change in the culture, like that reflects, that the idea that there used to be consequences for being tattooed, and there really aren't anymore necessarily, reflects like that things have softened up.
Right. I'm trying to adjust and do all kinds of stuff here, man. I got myself all screwed up tonight.
I was talking to Jesse, my buddy Jesse from Bull Magnolia Tattoo,
who used to be an apprentice on here. He would hang out and show up every once in a while, and we used to bust his balls about being an apprentice, but he is no longer an apprentice.
He is no longer an apprentice. And he was talking about live streams and podcasts where it just seems like 10 and 15-year tattooers are like, my apprenticeship was so hard and things are so soft today, and how it has no bearing on anything. And when I was talking to him, I was thinking that, like, I don't have to talk about my apprenticeship being hard. Everybody's apprenticeship in the 90s
was hard. Yeah.
Everybody came up in we all came up in biker shops. Well, not everybody came up in biker shops. A lot of people came up in biker shops where there were unwritten rules about what you could say, Like when people ask me about tattooing, then I say a lot of it was just, if you could stand your ground and keep your mouth shut, and do a decent tattoo, like that was sort of key.
Right.
Ouch.
I think we're going to bring up some tattoos. We're going to talk about some tattoos. I'm not going to provide a lot of pictures because some of these tattoos are very sensitive and we don't want to piss off any particular groups. So we'll start. We're going to try to steer clear of particular pictures, and we're also going to try to steer clear of particular names or names of groups, because I don't want to get involved in any of that. And we also want to make sure we stay on point with YouTube.
Stay in our lane.
Right, stay in our lane, but we also want to make sure I'm not pissing off the YouTube gods by talking about any of that stuff. So,
and I think what's important with that too is that those symbols change.
Yeah.
I mean, a symbol that was significant to a group of people, say in the 90s or the 2000s,
has changed.
Right.
Yeah.
As they've changed their designations, their colors, however you want to say
it. So before we get started, do we look okay? Picture look okay? Sound okay? Everything's good? Just give us a quick thumbs up in chat, just so this way we know we're good to go and we can keep rolling with this. We're trying it with a little bit darker in here because I think the overhead lights were screwing up my autofocus, and I want to see if it makes a difference. And if it doesn't, then we'll go back to the way it was before. But just give us a quick thumbs up in chat real quick. Let us know. Make sure we're good to go.
Trying to get more in frame
While
here.
we're waiting for you guys to give us that thumbs up, we're going to make a quick announcement that next week's live stream is going to be a little bit different than what we've been doing. We will not be in the tattoo shop. Justin and I will actually be live streaming from the parking lot of the Social Distortion concert. So we're going to see what we can change up about that, man. Maybe do a little man on the street kind of stuff. Go, interview some people that are actually tattooed, see what they talk about, see, hey, man, what's your significance of, what you have or whatever, how long you've been getting tattooed, that kind of stuff.
So I think the first time I saw Social Distortion was in the late '80s, and Mike Ness was already heavily tattooed. He wasn't getting heavily tattooed. He was already heavily tattooed, coming out of L.A. and that culture. And when I went to see them, I may have dropped some substances on the way in there. And my dude was surrounded by like a nimbus of light.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Social Distortion show. But I remember in particular that on his arm he had a pinup girl in front of an old school like Waltzer jukebox, and I just for some reason I sort of fixated on that.
Okay.
Yeah,
I actually saw something he posted today where he had a picture of these two kids.
the two kids. Yeah,
sitting out in front of on the stoop or whatever, and all they wanted to do was just give him a CD, and he was like, dude, I don't know who was more excited, me or them. Dude, you got to respect that, man. When you got somebody that's famous in the business, and he's willing to sit down with regular folk, that's pretty cool, man. Like Jelly Roll's pretty well known for doing stuff like that, man. And I tried like a son bitch to get an interview with him while he was here in Philly, dude. I mean, I'm not a huge country music fan, but I think I like some of his
he's
stuff,
a genuine dude,
and he's a solid dude. And you know what, man, I had mad respect for him for what he did going in going in front of Congress and trying to, deal with the fentanyl crisis in the United States and stuff like that. And, if you haven't heard his speech, I highly suggest you find it on YouTube and watch it. It was heartfelt, man. And it came from the heart, dude. And that came from, somebody that was a former, self-admitted drug dealer. And the fact that now, his, the fear of his daughter, falling into that trap because his mother, the child's mother was,
Yep.
former, or might still be, I don't know. But anyhow, let's not steer too far from the mission at hand tonight.
So just backtracking a little bit to Ness, I saw him in May, and I listened to them for years, and he was a dick for like a long time. Like I tried to meet him a couple times over the years, and he was a dick.
Yeah.
And I saw him in May post his throat cancer, and he really it changed him, dude.
Yeah, man. Well, it'll that'll do strange things, and you know what? Now that you said that,
like I could see a time when he would not have talked to those kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just speaking of heartfelt, man, I want to send my condolences to the crew at Convent Tattoo, especially Sophie. Eric, who was the manager at Convent, passed away on Friday. He had cancer, and I guess he did some kind of medically assisted, they moved up his date because they thought that he wouldn't be able to push the button on the date that they had set up, and it happened 4:00 on Friday. So my condolences to Sophie and the Convent crew. both Eric and Sophie were nothing but supportive right off the jump from me being involved with this whole thing and doing YouTube and wanting us to come there and interview, not only Sophie, but the other artists that work there. And I had nothing but mad love for both of them. Sucks. Eric was a little pissed off at me at the end for something completely different, but I think he got over it, and it is what it is. But it sucked. You never want to see somebody go through that, man. So condolences, man. All right. Anyhow, let's jump into this. I'll get to comments in a minute, man. I know there's a bunch of people making comments right now. We'll jump into those shortly. I don't want to lose track of what we wanted to talk about tonight, and I think that sometimes when we get sidetracked, people actually tune in and they tune out because we're not talking about what we're supposed to be talking about. So let's start this. I think that where we should start right off the bat, that'll kind of clear up what this conversation is going to be about and how we're going to handle it, is this will work perfect. So let me pull this picture up real quick. I am going to say that here is a perfect example of something that you do not want to get. If you do not belong to a certain particular motorcycle club, you're not involved in that lifestyle, you should not be wearing any type of tattoo that resembles what they look like. They are
huge faux pas. I'm sorry.
Huge no. If you are not in the 1%er lifestyle, you should not have a 1% diamond tattooed. I don't care how badass you think you are. If that's not your lifestyle, stay on your side of the street. This right here is somebody that was apparently in a club and has been removed from the club, and this is how they took care of it. That's all we're going to say about that, because I don't want to get into politics. I don't want to get into people's names. I don't want to talk about, did I even show up for you guys? Did you see the picture? I want to make sure that showed up. So,
Mike, could you?
So, did that come up for you guys? Did you see the picture I was trying to? It did not. Okay, so sons of bitches. I don't know why that didn't work.
Somebody just came to the door of the tattoo shop.
I am having issues tonight.
So it's hard to when people see you in here and then you don't answer the door at all to even tell them you're closed.
So here's exactly what I was talking about. This is something that you do not want to get. If you are not a member of a club, you do not belong in that lifestyle, or you're not a part of that lifestyle. These are things you want to steer clear from. You do not want to get 1% diamonds. You don't want to get anything that looks anything remotely like a club tattoo. Now, this is a certain situation where the guy was in a club and is no longer a part of that club, and they've removed it for him. Sometimes they do it where they black it out. Sometimes they'll do it where they do,
yes,
they'll remove it for you. Let's just put it that way. I don't want to get into details, dude, because that's not. I want to stay on my side of the street.
So not to get too in depth with it, but when I found that picture, if you leave a club in a certain standing, it's called being.
Don't even do. I don't want to even get into it, dude. We're gonna steer clear of politics.
Even something as simple as that.
Yep. Don't want to get involved in that, man. I don't want to have to field phone calls after this. So,
okay,
just do not do that. And the only reason why I'm bringing this up too is I actually have seen
people
jackets of, I don't know if it's like Yeezy or one of them chuckleheads has these jackets out that look exactly like a certain motorcycle club, and they're selling them for $200-$300. You don't want to get caught wearing that jacket. I'm just telling you right now. So,
I mean, honestly, Buck, you can go. I mean, you can find all of that
hey, man, you can do whatever you want.
No, I'm not it's a bad idea, but
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, I mean, all over the internet, like, if you look, there's
yeah, yeah. I know. I
I've seen
mean, you can go on
bootleg
Temu and get, you know,
yeah,
and you don't want to do that.
that's a bad idea.
And again, this is us trying to just inform you guys of things that I'm not trying to tell you what to get, what not to get, man. It's none of my business, man. I do not care what you get. I care because I care about you, and I want to make sure I'm giving you some information to steer away from certain things. There you go.
Yeah.
That's the best way to put it.
It just amazes me that, I mean, it amazes me that people would offer that kind of disrespect, even bootlegging.
Well, China, they don't give a shit. They don't have rules on copywriting, and they know nothing about any of that stuff. So they just see it as a picture and go, you know what, that's cool. Let's copy that, and that it will get you in trouble in more ways than one.
Have you ever seen anybody with those tattoos? With I mean, I've known a guy in particular.
I have,
Yeah,
but I don't want to. Yes.
very dangerous.
So, um, next thing that I wanted to bring up, and we're going to do this where the used to mean something doesn't mean something.
Okay.
Spider webs on your elbow. Back in the day, that used to represent the fact that you did time in prison. Each one of the strands was year that you did in prison and blah blah blah. And now all of a sudden, it's turned into a pretty common tattoo.
Just a way to cover your elbow.
Yeah, for the most part, right? You and I have talked about the stars on your knees. Stars on your knees back in the day, if you were ran with certain crowds, it was a major no-no to have that unless you were part of the Russian persuasion.
Yeah, so if I were going to Northeast Philly to one of the public steam room bathhouses, probably would not have stars on my knees.
You
In
would
that
probably
particular
walk out with missing skin on your knees.
See, the thing about the spider web too, though, is that I think if the spider web is still accompanied by different things like towers, clocks, like very recognizable things,
Yeah, so
walls,
I have clocks on here.
but not those. I mean,
We'll get
clocks in
into
a certain context.
right. So clocks used to be a major no-no, but not really. So let me be specific about this. Clocks without hands are the ones that were supposed to be the no-nos, because there's clocks all over the place now. You
Oh, the clock and rose tattoo?
You go on Instagram right now, dude, it's like one of the top 10 tattoos probably. Clocks are all over God's creation. But clocks with no hands, different story. Clocks with no hands were for people that, were doing time, and they got all the time in the world because they ain't going nowhere.
So when we talk about the consequences of these tattoos, without, I think it's important to mention that yes, anybody can wear any tattoo, but if you just run into the wrong dude who's looking for a reason to have trouble with the next guy that comes across his path, there are people that see this stuff as legitimate reason.
Well, what's crazy about this, man, is I try to do these and I try to be informative. So this way I give everybody some type of information. And then even with the trend tattoo, I tried saying at the beginning, look, I'm not trying to tell you what to get, what not to get, whatever. Somebody always takes offense. So somebody's going to take offense to this episode tonight and be like, who the hell are you to tell me what to get, what not to get? Bro, I am not.
Right.
Go get it, whatever the fuck you want to get. It's up to you, man. You're the one's got to deal with it after the fact. I can't make it any more plain than that.
So a buddy of mine was up in New York City on the Lower East Side. He was with a dude that had a skull with wings, not identical to any, just a skull with wings, right?
Yep.
and they
What if it looks a little too close?
or the dude that was standing on the sidewalk just
Happens to be part of that group?
was in a shitty mood,
Yep.
yoked him up.
And
Yoked him up
you
and said, "We
yes.
gotta cut that we gotta cut that off your arm." You know what I mean?
Now
Maybe just to, like, mess with somebody, maybe just
yep.
yeah.
I mean, look, dude, I I think for the average person that doesn't know any of this underworld seedy shit,
You love it.
nobody's gonna they're gonna be like, well, I don't understand why it means anything. And to be honest with you, there's probably people right now that are going, why are we talking about this? But in reality, and you see it from your perspective because you own a tattoo shop and you tattoo on a daily basis, there are people that walk in here asking for certain types of tattoos, and you're like, you know what I mean? Because they don't know any better. And this is stuff that I want to try to give you guys a little education here, man. Like, let's talk about something as simple as this: a clover tattoo. Okay, you could do 4-leaf clovers all day long. You could do a 3-leaf clover all day long. The difference is the 3-leaf clover tattoo is probably going to cause a problem if you run into the right people. There is a certain group that is their thing. That's their emblem. And a 3-leaf clover is probably not a good idea. Now look, if you leave a clean lifestyle, you're a mom, with
Citizen.
driving a minivan, he's a citizen, and you're never gonna get in trouble, probably doesn't mean two shits. It doesn't matter which one you get. But you know what? You never know what kind of situation you might wind up getting yourself into, and you happen to have that 3-leaf clover on, and you wind up having to go to jail or whatever for a little stint. You're gonna have some problems.
So, Mr. Cartoon went to Japan, right? Mr. Cartoon's a tattoo art at LA, tattooed Eminem, tattooed Dre, 50 Cent. And naturally, the lowrider kids from Japan
Mm-hmm.
were all about getting tattooed by him. He's OG LA Chicano tattooer. And he in an article he talked about how these guys wanted like, white picket fence. They wanted like hardcore Chicano tattooing. And he said to him, like, I can't.
Yeah,
You're Japan. You're Japanese. You live in Japan.
right.
You're not from that corner. You're not from that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And even Boog, who put out one of the most beautiful black and gray tattoo flash books ever called Love from the Streets.
rest in peace, Boog.
Rest in peace, Boog. His stuff, while Walk the Line, it definitely looked like something. It wasn't. It wasn't anything too authentic.
Right.
He stopped short of like he caught the spirit, or Boog caught the spirit of Chicano gang tattooing without stepping on anybody's toes and disrespecting people.
Right on. And that's what we're trying to not do here today, man. We're trying not to disrespect any of the groups, any of the stuff that we're talking about. Before we do that, man, let's jump it. Let's give a couple shout outs, man. We got a bunch of people in here. Sarah, by the way, my mom said hello back. She said that was awesome. She said thank you so much. Looks like we got Nikki, our moderator. We got Fat Cracker. What's up, brother? We got Sarah in the house, Tom in the house, Lou's in the house, Artie's in the house. What's going on, Artie? Drag, what's up, man? Nice to see you. Are you back from vacation?
Holiday. He's
Holiday.
European.
Sorry. Fudo. Good evening, all. Looking spooky. Not trying to be. We're trying to figure out if the camera is autofocusing because of the fluorescent lights. Fat Cracker said black fat. Whoo, almost had a faux pas right there, brother. Black flag tattoo on his knuckles. Nikki said that's awesome. Chris Hawkins, I am officially jealous. My absolute favorite band. Yeah, well, so Sunday night show should be pretty cool for you guys. I'll try to sneak some. Some. We're gonna. I'll try to sneak some. 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 video and pictures while I can. Probably won't. I'm not going to do them live, but I'll post them up on our community page. So be on the lookout for those.
So I'm an old punk rocker, and it was pointed out to me that Black Flag tattoos, which I had one, and Misfits tattoos are the live, laugh, love of the
Of the tattoo of the punk rock
of
community.
the 50 plus tattoo community. And as somebody that had bars, yes, I have to agree.
James Bryant said Jelly Roll is from my hometown. That's awesome. He seems like a pretty awesome dude. Fat Cracker said the LA letters on my knuckles are the Dodgers LA, and it speaks directly to today's topic. There you go. I got a lot of vatos asking me about the LA logo because in California, street and prison, it can mean that you're claiming a territory, but because I'm a polar bear to them, it confuses them.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that. That's funny. Fat Cracker said means nothing now. Super vanilla now. He was talking about the spider webs on the elbows. And then he said stars to scars. Yes. He said, okay, I'll stop with the corny jokes. And then he said, we'll put this up here because he said, you're just educating, not gatekeeping.
Yeah, we're not gatekeeping.
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
nah, well, look, people get pissy when you try to tell them, look, don't get this tattoo or, steer clear from this. They're like, wow, okay, whatever I want. It's like the dudes that are in the, if you listen to a certain motorcycle channel, the dudes that are all trying to be Johnny Badass and they're like, F you, dude, I'll wear whatever I want to wear. And I'm like, bro, go ahead, wear whatever you want, dude. You see what happens, man. Don't come crying on the show when you get, yeah. Anyway, it's just a fashion to those Japanese kids. They don't get it, especially if they were in Southern Cali. They would feel the heat. Yep. Drag City's still on the road. And Tom said, hey, I have a Misfits tattoo.
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. Look, that's when I did my thing with the trends thing. I even said, look, I fell into the tattoo trend trap. That was my first tattoo, man. I had the Tasmanian devil, dude. I mean,
I got a tribal.
It took me 20 years to cover that bad boy over, but I got it. So let's get into more of these. Crowns.
Here, I want to tell my Black Flag story, my Black Flag bar story.
Go ahead.
So my buddy Pete, made himself a little tattoo machine, and we got good and lubricated one night. And I'm pretty sure that he was pulling the India ink out of like a do not try this at home. Do not try this at home. I'm pretty sure he was pulling the India ink out of a 40 cap.
You're just asking for hepatitis.
No, he probably burned the guitar string.
Yeah, wow, yeah.
And yeah, so dumb.
It. Nice.
I mean, I was 17. And so the next morning I wake up with these 4 bars, the Black Flag bars, except they're too skinny and too long. So I have like basically 4 pieces of lasagna on my arm, right?
You're looking like you got barcode. Hold on, man. Let me ring you up at the register.
So yeah. 4 pieces of lasagna.
Speaking of, man, I've seen people with those tattoos, dude. I don't get that, man. Get a barcode. Bill O'Connell, elbow spider webs were done on heavily tattooed people in the early 1900s before it meant time in prison by others. Yeah, that's what we were saying. I mean, that's like one of those things where we're gonna have a couple of those where we say, hey, it used to mean this and it doesn't really anymore. What was the one you were talking about? Oh, we were talking about the Playboy Bunny.
Yeah, with the gangster disciples.
So back in the day, it was for a particular group, and
sorry,
cat's out of the bag now. But yeah, it was for a particular group, and then now, I mean, you see like Instagram models with the bikini line, Playboy Bunny tattoo. So I mean, that's a perfect example of something that used to mean this and doesn't really mean that anymore.
And I think that it speaks to what Fat Cracker said. Like, I have a red crown on my finger, but I'm a polar bear. You know what I mean? So the couple times that I've been questioned, there's confusion. Like, but obviously I'm not repping
Yeah.
a Latin set. You know what I mean?
So that's
I just wanted a crown.
crowns came up, and look, I think that obviously crowns don't really matter as much.
I think
It's
it's
steering away from the 5-pointed crown.
yeah, it's the number of points. I think.
That's the one you want to make sure. Like, look, if you want to get a little tiara and a crown or whatever the hell you want to do, and whatever, uh, make sure your man doesn't get the 5-pointed crown. Make sure it's like 4 points or 6 or 7. Make it look like the Burger King crown. Stay away from 5.
Yeah, 5 no bueno.
One that used to mean something that's been whitewashed. Ooh, that was a bad choice of words. Bad choice of words. Well, because it's lightning bolts. Yeah, and I know, like, totally just put my foot in my mouth.
I mean,
dude.
certainly that.
That definitely is. Anyway, it doesn't mean what it used to. It's not what it used to represent so much in the past. I mean, you're seeing kids getting it. I don't know if that's necessarily going to cause any problems anymore. It could. I mean, we're going to say that just because we're sitting here saying, "Hey, it's not an issue no more." Don't. I'm not saying it's okay to go get it, but it doesn't mean it doesn't have the weight it used to.
Well, there's
Just
a
like the
difference.
spider webs thing doesn't have the weight it used to.
Well, there's a difference between lightning bolts and more specific lightning bolts.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
And I think a lot of that has to do with so I mean, if I were rocking lightning bolts, people might be inclined to view it a certain.
Yeah, they would automatically assume.
Yeah. I think it has a lot to do with other visual clues. You know what I mean? Other visual indications.
Yeah.
Like it might not just be the tattoo, but the tattoo with, a red bandana or a blue bandana or whatever.
Yeah, like
With
if you're combining it with other stuff that falls in that same category.
Yeah.
1488.
Certain laces in your boots. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because 1488 is another one that I had on the list that
Yeah.
you might want to stay away from that number in particular. One that doesn't hold as much weight as it used to is the teardrops thing. Teardrops, man. I mean, now there's rappers that have never even lived in a bad neighborhood that got them on their cheeks. You know what I mean? Like that used to be, hey man, you did time in prison, or
more than that,
or you unalived somebody. I was trying to think of the right word because YouTube is looking for those words.
Wow.
Yeah. So
you help them shuttle off the mortal coil.
Yeah, there you go. Doesn't mean as much as it used to. I don't know if anyone would even question that anymore.
So, and then I years ago, somebody told me that a teardrop that wasn't filled in was like a loss. So a filled in teardrop meant one thing, but a teardrop that was just outlined meant something else. I don't know if that was true or not.
That I don't know. James Bryant just said my uncle got a teardrop when it meant something. There you go. So he knows what we're talking about. Another one that used to mean something that doesn't hold as much weight anymore is a cross on your chest. I mean, you see, a lot of different people with crosses on their chest. More specifically, I think when this cross on the chest was more like smack in the middle, was used to signify something that it doesn't now.
You ever seen that meme about the 3 things you never bring up when you're hanging out with bikers at dinner? What kind of oil to use in your bike?
Okay.
Whether hot rod flames on a tank are played out. And is the Iron Cross racist? Those are the three things you never talk about.
I don't know nothing about any of that stuff. So moving along. Um,
I mean, you put that one on your list, right?
I did not actually because I don't even consider that to be a thing anymore. I mean, it's pretty much um played out, just like spider webs and teardrops. I mean, I know what I know, and I would not get it. But for the average person walking down the street, who knows? Uh, Here's one that I actually found when I was doing some research, because I was trying to find ones that we don't know about, like that aren't normal for us to know, right? Did you know clowns? Like, if you have a clown tattoo in Brazil, it's offensive to police officers because it was against I guess the groups down there were
No, no.
using it as
To mock them?
yeah, and that they may have assaulted or something like that.
Like an ACAB?
Kind of, yeah. I, me and you were talking, and there's half our crowd just went, "What the hell is ACAB?" But yeah, so I didn't. I was like, "Wow, really?" Because I
It means all cats are bushy.
yeah. But yeah, that one was kind of weird to me. I was like, man, did not know that one. So that was a
So
new one for me.
that reminds me of like in Japan, the namakubi, right? The severed head. That's like a terrible symbol to get tattooed on you culturally.
What I'm sorry, I missed it.
The namakubi, the severed head.
Okay.
That's like a terrible symbol to get tattooed on you. Like it means like dishonor. It means like evil. Yeah. Yeah.
Probably should have looked that up before I got that then.
Yeah.
Did not know that. Um
Namakubi. That just sounds like a badass.
you know, so the 3 dots on your cheek or arm was supposed to represent, you being a part of a culture, not anything specific, but just being a part of a culture. And then the five like if you looked at a dice, the 5 on
The
a die.
pips.
Yeah. That's supposed to mean for a certain group over on the Eastern Bloc. But it's also said that Edison, when he was doing the electric pen, he tested it and he actually put that on his hand.
So I knew a guy that one time that he told me on his finger here, he had a big black dot and he called it his drinking dot. So if he looked at his finger and there was one dot, he was fine. If he looked at his finger and there were 2 dots, he was getting in trouble. And if he looked at his finger and there were 3 or more, he was in trouble. Those were his drinking dots.
Hey man, I could have probably used those dots back in the day. Although I don't know if I would have paid attention to them, to be honest with you.
So, I knew a guy one time years ago, these Russian tattoo encyclopedias
Yeah.
were printed, and they were what they were is there was a guard at the Gulag who got an in with some of the inmates at the Gulag, and they let him draw specific tattoos on them. Like he actually drew the tattoos he saw on the thieves or whatever. And I met a guy from New Jersey who got some of that work tattooed on him, even though he was not in any way, shape, or form part of that. He just saw they were just images in a book to him. And I was like, I remember the one in particular it was a jaguar face with a knife through the top of its head, which I don't think has any meaning in general, but it was a tattoo on a thief. And I just thought to myself, that's crazy.
So that's one of the ones I have on my list. Actually, is the cats.
The cats.
Cats, used to represent thieves. Multiple or a singular cat was that you worked solo, and multiple cats meant you worked as a group of thieves. I mean, Jesus, dude, how many older ladies do you see walking around with cat tattoos? It's does not mean that anymore. Tom said to me, I see the elbow webs as just time waiting around. I've seen people with them who have them representing depression, etc. Okay. Um, that's funny, Micah. I'm not going to put that out there, but that's funny. Bill O'Connell said spider webs are good space fillers. Bob Shaw had both elbows, and Lyle Tuttle didn't mean anything, just looked good. Women had them also. Yeah, I mean that's the spider webs thing is so done. The 5 dots also mean doing time. Yeah, that's what I was talking about. So like the 5, it was supposed to be you in the middle, and then the walls, the 4 walls.
13 and a half.
I thought the Namakubis was representing honor because it represents seppuku, which is an honorable death for the samurai.
No, because in seppuku it was belly cutting. Though I guess they would get their. So from what I understand, their second would sever their head, or if they were, and again, if they were women or children, they also would just have to draw the knife across outside of their stomach. So,
Drag said here in Europe, it is not easy. They had a lot of Celtic symbols that are not accepted. Yeah, I mean, I could see that. I don't know. I mean, I think that you missed a few comments above. Just saying. Okay.
but he, who said the thing about the Namakubi?
That was Tom.
Tom, I mean, I don't know. That's just what I heard. If you heard something different.
Fat Cracker said the Playboy bunny on my palm is getting teardrops next week.
this guy.
And Micah said all cops are class traitors. That's the one I skipped over, but I'll let Micah get his shine right there. All right, I think that's all the comments that we got so far.
All kids are beautiful, or all children are beautiful.
There you go. All
carrots
are bad.
See, the trouble with that is that now, through the rest of the live stream, I'm going to be thinking about.
It's all good, Micah. We get it, man.
Things to say.
It's all good, brother. I have no problems with what you're saying. I just, we got to mind our P's and Q's here on old YouTube before they swoop in here and just take you off the air.
See, that's one of the scariest things about social media, and especially like when I watch these guys in Britain now.
Okay,
they just you don't really know anymore. You don't really know, what's the line between offensive, what's the line between humor and offensiveness, what's acceptable and what's not acceptable. I mean, it's becoming harder to without saying what's right or what's wrong. You know what I mean?
Dude, all these bikes just rolled past the shop. I had to be like,
yeah. But seriously, I see commenters from Britain, for instance, who are like, we're not sure what we can say anymore.
Well, it's a different story over there.
It's coming over here though.
I'm sure. Politics in general are just wacky. Fat Cracker said, the bunny's got a sword through its head. Sarah said I just got a new tattoo of a frog that also has tattoos. One of his tattoos is a spider web on his elbow.
So I was wondering because I see
That's awesome.
that dude from State of Grace Tattoo
I don't know.
from California, and he does the cats, the like cats with the Japanese bodysuits, and I see the frogs with the Japanese bodysuits, and I was wondering, is there like some kind of, is there some kind of like sort of meaning in joke to them? I really was wondering.
I don't know.
Do you know the ducks in Jeeps? There's a thing for that. When you see Jeeps, they have all the rubber ducks on the dashboard.
Yeah, it is definitely a Jeep thing, and I forget what the meaning is.
Yeah, I
It
don't
was
know.
something like, you know how like we do when you're riding, you do
Yeah.
right. It's the same kind of thing where they give each other ducks or something. I don't understand it, but I don't know. So if you know what the duck story is out there, I just know like riders usually give the two fingers down, you know, rubber side down, that kind of thing where you're uh giving props to your dude riding, unless you're one of those guys that doesn't wave to anybody, you know.
Or one of those guys that doesn't wave to anybody not on American bikes.
Yeah, man. I don't get into that, dude, because to me, man, as long as you're riding, you're riding. That's all. It's good, man. I know what I ride. I'm happy about what I ride. If that's all you can afford is a Honda, right on. Whatever, man. I'm not gonna bust your balls about it. Anyhow,
Anyhow,
um, so speaking of dagger with the through the head of it, one of the ones that is on the list of the it doesn't mean as much as it used to is the dagger through the pierced rose thing. I don't think that's anything anymore.
so I know that when they used to there were roses that they used to make that looked like female anatomy,
Okay.
and the dagger in through the center of that rose.
They did not mention anything about female anatomy in that little particular piece.
Yeah.
So I think they were just talking in generalization.
So when you look at some of the traditional roses, you can see the center of the rose, what it looks like.
Here's the thing is I've seen a lot of videos that are out there where they are talking about and they're just average dudes that are out there throwing out information. Don't get this tattoo. These are the 11 most dangerous tattoos to ever get. And it's like, dude, do you even know what the hell you're talking about? Like, that's when I see that kind of stuff, it just, so I'm actually sitting here thinking to myself, are people watching this right now saying the same thing about us? And I'm like, man, it just irks me because it's like these dudes are just taking some shit that they heard and they're throwing it out there as fact. These are the things you should never get. Like, and dude, how about you do a little research behind them and find out why? Maybe there's a reason why you shouldn't get them, or maybe they're so old that nobody even cares about that anymore. I don't know, man. Just having a moment, pissy moment.
Well, I mean, we know that I have feelings about people that don't have a lot of time setting themselves up as some kind of authority. I really don't like that, but
Yeah, and rightfully so though, because you're somebody that's been tattooing for almost 30 years, dude. I mean, at this point, you've earned the right to say things about the craft of tattooing that a lot of younger generation shouldn't have say.
I mean that is the nature of it, the cutthroat nature. Like what we were talking about last week. In the end, it's only a certain person cares about things like history or lineage. Like, so I guest spotted at Philadelphia Eddie's, right? And uh, Eddie to Brooklyn Blackie to Charlie Wagner to Sam Riley. Like, I took that, as an honor. I mean, I was tattooing in a tattoo shop where the lineage goes back to the guy that patented the tattoo machine in America.
Yeah.
But a lot of people, I mean, it just doesn't. It has no. They don't. It doesn't matter to them.
Right.
Things like that don't matter.
And I think that you know, when you dismiss history, whether it's good history or bad history, you're definitely going to run afoul. So, people that dismiss bad history and want to, sweep it under the rug or whatever, then, you have the repeat itself. It's going to wind up repeating itself. You have people that dismiss the good history, like the history of the craft of tattooing. There is, you need to understand where the guys came from, the hurdles that they had to get over, whether it's, laws and regulations, or, finding out, how to mix certain colors or to develop certain colors. And I mean, there's a multitude of different things that if you just want to like brush that off and be like, yeah, whatever, man, you're kind of, it's like stepping on the dick of somebody that came before you. And that's not cool, man. I mean, if you respect what you're doing today and you appreciate the fact that you're, making money off of this, then you should be respectful of the past, the guys that came before you, that put you in the position to do what you're doing right now.
See, it in retrospect, it might have been short sighted. It was, or it definitely hurt me financially that I was not interested in going to conventions and getting accolades from people that really I sort of felt like a tattoo contest. I wasn't interested. I was interested in guys I respected, you know, being like, he's a tattooer.
Micah said, history of tattooing is why this channel is the best. My man.
I mean, and I think that I think there's people in both camps in any kind of profession. There's people that are going to be motivated, and they're going to look for respect from people that they have respect for and feel that,
Yeah.
the first time someone's like, "Oh, he's a regular,"
Right.
you know?
Bill said, me and one of my best friends, a woman, both got cats with their paws raised up
Oh,
on
seafood
our
cats.
hips, and we bump hips and high five each other the way the cats do. Yeah, I was gonna say, Bill. Nikki, our moderator, said, Bill, that's a great BFF.
Metal Cats is a great channel on Instagram.
Chris Hawkins just said that just shows a good pedigree. Fat Cracker said, respect, Philadelphia Eddies. Voodoo, cats, toads, sparrows imitating human activities is seen in Japanese. I don't even know what word that is. Yokai prince. They can be playful trickster or evil spirits. Depends on what they're pictured doing. Bill, I think he's being serious. Okay. So Bill said, I have a killer vajayjay with teeth. Around that is flowers with pansies. I've been, never mind, with male appendages. I've been getting tattooed since 1982. Took a break and I started back 2 years ago. Maybe someday be completely covered. Man, I was stumbling all over that trying to be appropriate.
There's a
thanks, Bill. Much appreciated.
That's Freud said that a fundamental fear of men.
Of a JJ with teeth?
Yes, there's actually a psychological term.
Oh boy. Anyhow, let's get back to tattoos that you shouldn't get. We've crossed a realm that is dangerous for the life expectancy of this channel.
That would make a great horror movie.
Attack of the Killer Vajayjays. Dagger through the neck tattoo. I never even heard of that.
I never heard of that either.
Apparently, that is representative of you being someone unaliving somebody.
I'm gonna say that one has lost its meaning, or it maybe just has meaning
For like a
a specific
tiny
place.
little group of people, because I've never even heard of that. Shackles
Well, shackles, yeah.
should not get shackle tattoos. Represent you doing time, and if apparently if you have those and you have never done such thing, you will be reprimanded. I don't know. Look, I mean, ultimately, what it comes down to is any of these tattoos that we're talking about is you're going to have to run into a particular person that's going to be particularly pissed off that day, that's going to cause a problem for you, right? Ultimately, it's up to you guys to get whatever freaking tattoo you want to get. If you want to get a goddamn unicorn on your forehead, go ahead and get it. Who cares? Nobody cares. But, the bottom line is there are certain tattoos out there somebody will care. And that's the long and short of it. I mean,
So, in my sixth sense of humor, I love the movie Fritz the Cat.
okay.
And in Fritz the Cat, there's the bunny rabbit character who's like a biker speed freak, but a he's pretty rough.
See, but why's he got to be a biker speed freak?
Well, because it was the 1970s.
Ah,
Yeah, it was the night.
okay.
Fritz the Cat, first X-rated cartoon ever made. And at one point, I thought about getting him tattooed on me.
Okay.
But some of the symbolism in the picture would be problematic.
Right.
And doesn't really jive with my values. And I wouldn't want to go through the trouble of having to explain to people that it's a Fritz the Cat tattoo.
Yeah, I think that we've talked about this type of thing before, where you talked about the kid that wanted to get the Confederate flag
Got the
tattoo
Confederate flag tattoo.
and then wound up going to the county, and he realized he was not
Built for that.
built for that life, and he was not. He was a minority in there, and he got his daily beatings will
Yard
commence
vote.
in the yard.
Yeah.
Fat Cracker said correct on the dagger through the neck, but now it's just fashion. Drag said buenas noches, amigos, and to the tattoo community, thank you for the show. You're welcome, Drag. Enjoy the rest of your holiday. Be safe, and we will see you soon. Fat Cracker said, I love Fritz the Cat.
Yep.
He said, I love the Fritz tattoo. Yeah, man, I think I even said this during my trends video, right? It really, if you take the time to work with your tattoo artist and you do a little research and you really put some thought into your tattoo, you're not going to wind up probably getting a tattoo that you're going to regret having. You're going to probably not have a tattoo that you're going to unwillfully have removed from your body. I mean, it's taught. It really, you're talking about something that's going to be on your body for the rest of your life, or it should be anyway. I mean, you could do laser removal and blast over it with a cover up these days, but if you really do put some thought into these things and you work with your tattoo artist, 9 times out of 10, your tattoo artist is going to know that's probably not a good tattoo for you to get if it's one of these types of tattoos. And really, we just want to make sure that you're informed and you don't do something stupid. It's going to cause a problem or get you hurt.
And I think most times with a lot of these tattoos, groups associated with them, they have their own tattooers.
Yeah, for sure. And to be honest with you, there are probably some of these tattoos that's going to be just a matter of getting mud checked. It wouldn't even turn into anything bad. But you know what, man? There's people out there that might not even handle getting mud checked well. You know what I mean? And that might be just enough. you know, look, it's I like I said, I feel like if you really stop and think about what you're doing and take the time to put a good thought out piece, you shouldn't have any problems. And the other thing is, with the amount of different tattoos that there are out there now, uh, so many different styles, and you could do, whether it's black and gray or color or whatever, you don't have to do any of these types of tattoos to begin with, man. There's thousands upon thousands of other options. Stay away from them.
So, like, I for instance have big naked girls tattooed on me, pinup girls, right?
I'm like, you have the words big naked girls? Okay,
Yeah,
go ahead.
yeah, I do. Big naked girls wanted, and so I mean, I've been in places where people have been offended by that, by the nudity in my tattoos, but a lot of it is like, uh, they can go screw, man.
I mean, look, dude, back in the day
And
when
that's and
those
that's but
the,
that's part of it. Like, part of the motivation for getting certain tattoos for me was the whole point of flipping off the civilians. That was the and that's what a lot of people miss with a lot of this imagery. I think it's people saying, making the statement, I'm apart from you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, and I get that, but the bottom line is, we're talking about some stuff that it goes beyond the shock and awe thing. We're talking about tattoos that, potentially could get somebody hurt.
Right.
There were guys that were coming back from World War II with the naked Hulu girls that people thought were offensive, and now we see it, and it's like, well, no big deal. You know what I mean? Like it's just not something that we even think about these days.
I mean, I got a couple tattoos and my friends were like, you're gonna have to stand up, man. You're gonna have to be at home for that one. You know what I mean? And I understood what they were saying,
Right.
and they reflect some of the things I believe in.
I mean,
But they were purposely. I mean, I purposely got them.
I don't have anything that I would consider to be I was gonna say that I would have any issues with, but I guess I do. I have one tattoo. So, but I will never be at a Russian bathhouse and have a problem with that. So it is what it is. It's like, you know, but I knew what it was about anyway. And there's no denying that I don't know what it actually means because I have father written in Russian.
Right.
So they would see it and go, well, you're going to sit here and act like you don't know what the hell that means, dude. But that's not why I got it. So there's a difference. I feel like
I mean, but you're also willing, if you were called on it, whatever consequences came would be the consequences.
hey man, yeah,
Yeah.
it's just yeah, we'll leave it at that. I don't want to get into the backgrounds of stuff, but you know, um I don't know, man. I thought it was a cool show tonight. I think that we got the potential of having a freaking amazing show next week.
Yeah.
I really do want to try to get like some
Why did we just turn red?
other people. That was me. I really do want to try to get some other people though, like interviewed while we're roaming the crowd or something next week, and see if we can do something with that. I won't probably be able to do live with that. Maybe those are clips that we'll save and we'll throw up in our community posts or something like that later. Or maybe plan the following week. I'll try to download them and try to get them to play on here.
Maybe we'll have like a maybe we'll take a survey
Of
of how many like skank circle jerk skank band tattoos there are, black flag bars, misfits tattoos, social distortion bars. We can keep like a little.
do like a running tally.
We can do like a tally.
That would be hysterical, dude. Yo, all right. Yeah. Dude, $2 super
Yeah,
chat.
yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks. Yay.
Don't breeze over that.
I don't see any of that money. Buck takes all that money.
dude, we haven't even made enough to cash out. So
Buck takes
there's no
that.
seeing any money yet.
He takes that 85 cents
Yeah.
after YouTube.
Man, YouTube, dude, they take a bite, boy. Woo, I thought the government was bad.
So Rocket from the Crypt, if you have a Rocket from the Crypt tattoo, you get their shows for free.
Really?
Yeah.
How's that work though with the ticket person at front?
Well, I mean, I guess you show them and you tell them, and they go talk to one of the guys, like one of the stage guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bill O'Connell said, "I also have nude pinup girls. We do push the limits." Exactly, Justin. All of my pinups were done by female artists. There you go. That's cool. I don't know why I never got the whole pinup thing, man.
Well, when I got my pinups, I had big old greasy pompadour.
Bill said that forgot the late Bill Clayton did a couple. That's awesome, man. I really didn't know much about Bill Clayton and Clayton's tattoo world down there in North Carolina until I met Grim, who I did the interview with, and I started really looking into that to Bill, and his father was also a tattoo artist, so they've been a huge part of that fabric of that community down in North Carolina for a long time, man. It's like second, third generation, tattoo artists, which is awesome, dude. Like Martinic, mm-hmm. Talking about 3 generations of tattooers right there, man.
3 or 4.
It's 3.
Well, 3 generations. Yeah, it'll be 4
because the son already's been tattooed. So, is getting Skelly lame, Justin?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying anything like that. I'm just saying I'm gonna do a what do you call it?
A tally, like a tick sheet.
Yeah, like a tick sheet of like what are the biggest punk rock tattoos? Misfit Skulls, Black Flag bars. I actually almost got that tattoo with the banners like that Mike has that say "Thy will, not mine," because he's clean, I'm clean.
Yeah, and doesn't Rev from what's it, High Standard Tattoos?
Does he have a Scully on him?
No, but doesn't he use the skeleton from Social D is on his like shirts?
Maybe.
I think that's the shirt I have. It's got the dancing skull or skeleton. Sorry.
If anybody gets a chance, I love Social Distortion. Another State of Mind is a banging movie. It's a what do you call it? A documentary that was made by the guys from I want to say not Youth of Today. Definitely not Youth of Today.
Anyhow, go ahead.
The band that made Sync with California. It was them and Social Distortion on tour. Youth Brigade.
Is that when it's like he's really young?
Yeah, he's young.
Like super young. Mike's like, yeah, dude, I've seen that. That was actually really good.
So when the commentary for that, he really just like slagged himself in every scene. It was hilarious.
Chris said, laugh out loud, just checking.
Yeah.
Nah, man. As far as punk tattoos, I think those would probably be the 3 that I've seen the most.
See, I'm a true Social Distortion fan.
Have a good one, Artie. Thanks for stopping out. Much appreciated.
Like, not to talk about music too much, but I feel like there's people that love bands so much that when the bands change, they let them change and they still appreciate their music. Like I like Social Distortion all the way from like Mommy's Little Monster or even 1945 up to, Hard Times and Nursery Rhymes.
I have 2 examples of that.
Right.
So I have opposite ends of the spectrum for that. So you laugh at me all the time because I like to Rush all the way to the end because I was just a diehard Rush fan.
Right. And you let them change and grow.
And I had no problem with it.
Yeah.
Like some of the keyboardy stuff I didn't like as much, but whatever.
Whereas I was more of a casual fan because I stopped around A Farewell to Kings.
And then I felt like Metallica when they cut their hair and had the Black Album, and the minute they wrote a goddamn ballad.
Oh, you mean Metallica when they anything after Master of Puppets when Cliff died?
Dude, well, I liked Injustice for All, man. So,
I
but
know. Yeah,
I thought Injustice for All was a great album. But
I like Injustice for All. I like to listen to that on Spotify when I don't listen to that and I listen to something else.
Bill said, "Sweet Nikki, women are beautiful. They also make great tattoos. Clayton started tattooing in 1961. I also got
Wow.
tattooed by Gil Monty in Fayetteville in 1982. I'm actually going to hopefully run into Gil down at the Norfolk Tattoo Convention.
So I'm going to start a GoFundMe because Buck's going to Norfolk, and because I have kids, I'm broke when it comes to convention funds. So if anybody wants to send Justin to Norfolk
Dude, you can't even get a
donations,
room now.
I sleep in the car.
Chris said they evolved. Yeah, they evolved.
I mean, when he did the solo album "Cheating at Solitaire," that was a game changer musically for me.
I think that I think for lead singers it's different because how do I explain this, man? So, like, okay, here you go.
We love music on this channel.
If you had Alice in Chains, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if Alice in Chains didn't find that kid from the Philippines that sounds exactly like Lane Staley, would the Alice in Chains still be able to be Alice in Chains?
I don't know because I've never listened to
Okay.
Yeah.
So, but I
Or
think
like the way
when you have a lead singer, though, it's easy for you to go out on your own because that's what people are used to hearing.
So the way that when Brian Johnson replaced Bon Scott in AC/DC, and he had virtually the same voice.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, not the exact, but it's close enough that most people were like, "Oh, okay." But like lead singers, I think, have an easier time going. And I mean, I saw Roger Waters do stuff as Roger Waters, and I definitely missed hearing David Gilmour's guitars and his stuff that he sang. So I guess it does work both ways, but
Yeah,
I feel like it's easier for a lead singer to evolve from the band that they're known for.
I saw the Pixies without Kim Deal. It just wasn't the same.
I never got to see the Pixies, man. I'd like to see them live. Anyhow, man, I hope you all enjoyed the episode tonight. I hope we were informative and we brought some stuff to the table that maybe you hadn't thought about or didn't know about. We try to bring up topics each and every week here that are intriguing and create some banter between us and our listeners. We hope you dug it. I hope you all have a goddamn cops. Hope you all have a safe week, and we will catch you all next week from Social Distortion.
See you from Social Distortion.
Peace.